This is New Jersey Today. It's two-way talk hosted by Bert Barron, where the local issues that matter to you are front and center on the New Talk Radio 1450 WCTC and online at WCTCAM.com.
All right, happy Wednesday to you, and welcome to a very special New Jersey Today here on the New Talk Radio 1450 WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey. It is Bert Barron. Great to have you with me on a very special show today. Our phone number 732-545-WCTC. Toll free outside the 732 area code 1-888-545-WCTC. Listen live on our website, WCTCAM.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. You can find us at 1450 WCTC. Lots going on in the show today, but we're going to dedicate the first hour of today's program, of today's edition of New Jersey Today, to our very special guest who is here. She is the Director of Immigrant and Refugee Services at Jewish Family and Vocational Service of Middlesex County, and she's been doing that for the past 10 years. And we're going to talk about a number of topics today involving immigration. So let me welcome Debby Alter to the show. Debbie, welcome to New Jersey Today. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you here. We're going to take some calls throughout the hour as well. But right at the beginning of the show here, we have a local elected official that wanted to come on and just give you a quick little congratulations and say hello.
Terrific.
All right, let's welcome in Edison Mayor Antonia Risigliano to New Jersey Today. Mayor Risigliano, welcome back to New Jersey Today. How are you?
Oh, just fine, Bert. Thank you very much for allowing me to be a part of your program.
My pleasure. Welcome to the show, and we're here with Debby Alter, if you want to say hello to her.
I certainly do, and I won't take but a moment. But, Debbie, it is delightful to speak with you. I do indeed want to say congratulations. You and Jewish Family and Vocational Services provide a wonderful service to those who come to our shores. As the daughter of an immigrant, I know that immigrants who come to a new country find it confusing because at times it's even frightening because of language barriers and other rules and regulations. And what you basically do is lead them by the hand and by providing services at different sites so it makes access easy, you're able to inform them on how to become citizens of this wonderful United States of America.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mayor. I, too, am the daughter of immigrants, so I have a large appreciation for what they go through in trying to become citizens and acculturating to our society. JFVS has a long tradition of serving the community, and it's my pleasure to provide immigration workshops throughout the community so we can better inform our immigrants as to what their rights and privileges are. And I hope to be doing it for a while, and I thank you for the opportunity to do that.
And as always, we welcome you to Edison Township. You know, our doors are open to you, and obviously the services you provide are, a wonderful opportunity for all of us.
Yes, we provide.
You, Debbie.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you for calling.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're quite welcome.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Bert.
My pleasure. Always great to talk to you. Thank you so much for your call to New Jersey Today. Debbie, in the interest of full disclosure, son of an immigrant. How about that?
I think that's fabulous. I think we're all sons of immigrants here, don't you?
I guess if you can trace back far enough, right? Yeah, exactly. Debbie, for people that might not be familiar with the Jewish Family and Vocational Services of Middlesex County, talk about that first.
So we are a multi-service agency located in Milltown, New Jersey. We serve all people in Middlesex County, and my job as Director of Immigrant and Refugee Services is to provide immigrants with immigration services that are expert and high quality. In addition to the services that I provide, the agency provides services to seniors, services to individuals with disabilities. We have a Medicare-Medicaid fraud unit, and we also assist people who are going through divorce or recent separation and trying to find a job. So we work really hard at JFVS.
Yeah, sounds like it. You've been at this for 10 years now already?
I've been the Director of Immigrant Services for 10 years, but actually I've been with the agency for, I believe, 18 or 20 years. I started just helping immigrants from the former Soviet Union with their citizenship, and then it was really fascinating to me, and I wanted to get more involved. So I worked really hard, and now I have a license from the Department of Homeland Security to provide immigration services.
Wow. Is there still a demand from places like the Soviet Union, or are you seeing a different clientele kind of come through your door there?
Initially, we were part of that large resettlement of Jews from the former Soviet Union to the United States, but that sort of tapered off in the 90s. And right now, we provide services to all immigrants coming from all over the world. I see people from every continent. And it's really interesting for me to get to know people and their culture from all over the world.
Has it been a spike in business in recent years for you?
Very, very much so. As you know, immigration is a hot topic. And we do our utmost to tell people that they need to preserve their immigration status, and they need to make sure that they maintain legal status here. And so we reach out to every member in all communities.
That's something that I'm sure you make a priority. Say, anybody that comes to you, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do it the right way, we're going to get everybody above the board and do this by the book.
Our services support individuals without regard to race, ethnic origin, age, gender, sexual orientation, or religious preference.
Do you get a lot of individuals? Do you get families? A little bit of both?
You know, it's interesting that you say that, because often people will come in and say, I just help needing a green card. And when I go out to the waiting room, there are 9 individuals there. And each of them has an immigration need. So I do have some help providing the service, and we're trying to get more people who are accredited on board, but the list is growing. As you know, Middlesex County is extremely diverse. I think it's almost defined by its diversity. And so immigration needs are high. And more we're hearing about people who are unfortunately being taken advantage of by immigration scams, people who say that they can provide immigration services, but they do not have permission to do so. And a lot of people are being taken advantage of, and I think it's my job to stop that.
And I'm sure that when it comes to an issue like immigration, you know, we're bombarded by our fair amount of get-rich-quick schemes. In terms of immigration, there's a fair amount of those that folks need to watch out for, too.
Well, what happens is you'll see the word notario on an office building, and that's, as you know, we have a large Latino community here. And so they'll say notario, and they think that that's an immigration attorney, but really it's just a notary, and they do not have permission to provide immigration service. And they'll tell someone who really has no hope of attaining legal status that they can get them a visa or a green card or citizenship, but it will cost them $3,500. And so if anyone, my message today is that if anyone goes out there and meets someone who promises something that sounds too good to be true, it usually is. And if I may, I just wanted to help people not become a victim of this.
Sure.
And tell them that if they do feel that they've been taken advantage of, I'd like to give them a phone number if
Absolutely.
that's possible.
Sure.
Okay. So if you feel that you've been misrepresented or you've been promised something and the next day you go to the office and the office doesn't exist, but your pocket is $5,000 lighter, then you can do something. You don't have to be a victim even if you are out of status. And I think you should call the Office of the Attorney General. And may I give the phone number?
Of course.
Okay. It's 973-504-6200 or 800-242-5846. That's the Office of the Attorney General. And you should report what happened to you, and they will look after it, the Division of Consumer Affairs.
And this is the brand new Attorney General Jeff Chiesa. Do you have other connections to his office? You work with their office frequently?
Right now, we're just working on this aspect of it, but as part of an accredited agency, we work with USCIS in Newark, and they give us information all the time about who to contact and what to tell our clients who unfortunately have been taken advantage of.
Debby Alter is here on New Jersey Today on the New Talk Radio WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey. She's been the Director of Immigrant and Refugee Services at Jewish Family and Vocational Service of Middlesex County for the past 10 years, and she's here today to talk about scams, facts and myths and things you need to know about immigration here in Middlesex County and in New Jersey. She is here to take calls, 732-545-WCTC, 1-888-545-WCTC. You can remain anonymous if you'd like. If you'd like to just get some information from Debbie while she's here, feel free to do so. And again, the number 732-545-WCTC or 1-888-545-WCTC. Debbie, walk me through the process. As someone was to show up at your office there, it's in Highland Park, right?
It's currently in Milltown.
In Milltown. Someone is to show up at your front door there in Milltown. What's the first thing? Walk me through the process.
Well, first we're going to find out what they need. What is their problem? Why did they come to see me? If they need a green card, if they're an immigrant and they want it's called adjusting status to becoming a lawful permanent resident, that's a green card holder, we assess to see if they're eligible. On what basis are they applying for legal permanent residency. And so we look at all their documents. And if they entered legally, if they were admitted, then we look at their passports and the stamp in their passport. We want to verify that they are indeed entitled to this immigration benefit. And usually, if you want to get a green card, you have to attach it somehow. So either a family member, an immediate family member, like a parent or a child, has to petition for you, or a spouse has to petition for you. And then we help them fill out all the forms that they need to fill out, and make them collect all of the documents and get them translated so that we can put together a good package so that this person can get a green card and adjust status. And part of my job is to advocate for them on their behalf as well. If they file this application and United States Citizenship and Immigration Services loses their application or has some questions, I'm their accredited representative. What I complete for these people is what an immigration attorney would complete for them. So every notice that they get, I get a copy of. And so I'm responsible for that application, and I'm allowed to advocate for them. So I always phone them to make sure that they receive the notices, and I call them to make sure they don't miss their fingerprint appointments, and I walk them through the process. If USCIS has any questions, I email supervisors, and we try to get the job done. I coach them before their interviews. I meet with them before their interviews. It's my goal for them to get the benefit that they are entitled to. So that's pretty much the process for green card holders. People who want to become citizens, it's my job to verify that they are eligible, that they can speak English, that they've been here long enough and that they're eligible, that they fill out the forms correctly, and they give the information that USCIS is asking for. I often represent people at their interviews at the Newark Service Center, and it's really a pleasure to help people through this process, and honestly, very, very fulfilling.
What's the time frame for the process typically?
Well, to become a citizen right now, USCIS has shortened it because I think they want to help people register to vote. So normally at the Newark Service Center, I'd say it's about 4 months, but now with applications that I'm filling out, they're getting them in 3 months because they are also trying to help people register to vote. And so 3 months for 3.5 months for citizenship, maybe 6 months for a green card. It depends upon what your basis of eligibility is. People can also get green cards through lotteries. There are other ways to get a green card through employment. So there are lots of different ways, but we have to make sure that they're eligible before they submit even 1 cent to USCIS. Mm-hmm. And there is one other thing that I wanted to say, and that's the fees are very, very high. So to become a citizen costs $680. So that's a lot of money for an immigrant to spend on one application, especially if there's a family. So individuals may be eligible for a fee waiver, which means USCIS waives the whole fee. But people have no idea that they may not have to pay the $680. Mm-hmm. So for people who are low income, receive a means-tested benefit like food stamps or Medicaid, I can help them fill out a fee waiver form. And this way, we fill out the fee waiver form with the application for citizenship, and if it's approved, they do not have to pay any of the $680 fee. So I think that's a really important message for folks out there, and if they have any questions about it, I'm happy to take them now. But fee waivers are a large part of what I do because, unfortunately, in this economy, a lot of people are low income, mm-hmm. and they are eligible for those waivers.
Have there been a lot of changes in the process since 9/11? Has that had an impact on it?
The process is, yes, absolutely, absolutely. USCIS is much tighter in their restrictions. They are running more security clearances. If you want to do a name change, you might have to go through another security clearance to make sure that nobody has that name. There's a lot of fraud issues in consulates abroad, especially in Asia, in mm-hmm. Asian countries. And so we are very, very careful to give the Department of Homeland Security what they want up front so that they don't have any questions. But many times people will be asked to provide DNA to prove a family relationship.
Understood. 1:20 on New Jersey Today on the New Talk Radio WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey. Special guest for the hour is Debby Alter, here for comments and questions. 732-545-WCTC. 1-888-545-WCTC, and you can listen live on our website, WCTCAM.com. Quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk about some of the do's and don'ts and some of the common myths in immigrants in immigration communities, and also some of the scams that we're going to talk about as well. And your calls and comments, of course, are welcome at 732-545-WCTC. 1:20 on New Jersey Today on the New Talk Radio WCTC. Right now, your Central Jersey weather. All right, 123 back on New Jersey today on the New Talk Radio WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey, 732-545-WCTC, 1-888-545-WCTC. Listen live on our website, WCTCAM.com. Facebook and Twitter, yep, you can find us there, 1450 WCTC. And now we are available on iHeartRadio. Just go to WCTCAM.com. You'll find the link there, or go to iHeartRadio.com and search WCTC. Very special guest for the full hour is Debby Alter, the Director of Immigrant and Refugee Services. She is here for questions and comments that you may have. 732-545-WCTC or 1-888-545-WCTC. Debbie, how does someone reach you directly at the office if after this show, or perhaps they see the rebroadcast, and we have to thank Edison TV for being here today as well. If someone watches this on Edison TV, how do they get a hold of you at the office?
They can call me at 732-777-1940. My extension is 1119, but if they dial that main number, the 777-1940, and ask for Debbie, I'll be happy to speak with them. If anyone has an immigration question, I'm happy to try to answer it for them.
How prevalent are scams, not only in Jersey, but in Middlesex County? I'm sure you've seen every imaginable scam that's been attempted.
Just yesterday, I had a woman come in who she entered illegally, and she had absolutely no papers, and this notario in Perth Amboy promised her that he was going to get her a green card, and he took about $4,000 from her, and she kept coming back, and the office was there until one day she went, and the office was gone, and she had given him cash. So if anybody's asking for cash, be very, very careful. Make sure that the person that you see has a license to practice immigration law.
Do you see a lot of that, like these little fake temporary storefronts that are there one day, gone the next?
We absolutely do, and USCIS is working very, very hard to combat the unauthorized practice of law. But, you know, unfortunately, this is a very, very vulnerable population. You want to believe that someone's going to get you a green card or a visa and you'll be able to stay in this country. And so you want to believe it's true, and you'll collect all the money that you can. And unfortunately, it's not going to have a good ending.
Debbie, let me ask the question that I think a lot of listeners or viewers are probably throwing something at their radio or TV, begging for me to ask, and that is, if this woman was in the country illegally, isn't it end of story? Isn't it game over at that point? Out you go?
It depends how you entered. There are many people here who are out of status. Middlesex County has 810,000 individuals living here. 29.4% are foreign-born. Almost half are not naturalized, but the overwhelming majority have legal status. So I think when people hear immigration, right away they get really nervous that these people are out of status just because we're calling them immigrants.
It's kind of the natural reaction, I think, for a lot of people.
It is, but it's really not true. And even for people who have their status has expired because they came in on a visa and that visa expired, if they marry a U.S. citizen, or their child petitions for them, their child who is over 21, then they can get legal status. They can convert it. But if you entered here without permission, then currently you do not have permission to stay here. And primarily, I work with immigrants who do have legal status, so that's the focus of what I do.
Are there any reasons, let's talk about citizenship, let's focus on that for a second, where someone would face an almost immediate rejection for citizenship? What are some red flags that you have to watch out for?
All right, so if you're going to apply for citizenship, you have to make sure that you're eligible. You have to be able to speak, read, and understand English in most cases. There are a few waivers in different situations, but primarily, don't go in there if you can't speak English because you're going to get rejected. So make sure that you attend citizenship class and ESL class and that you have all the material that you need. At JFVS, we provide videos, we have citizenship classes, and if we feel that you're not ready to apply, we advise you not to. So make sure that you can speak English. Make sure that you have been here for 5 years as a permanent resident, and if you're married to a U.S. citizen, then you can apply after 3 years. So make sure that you've been here long enough to apply. Some people think, I'm going to apply 2 months early and get my application in before my neighbor next door. But that's not what's going to happen. If you sign your application even 1 day before you're eligible, you can pay your money, get to the interview, and you will be denied. So make sure that you're eligible on the day that you apply. The most common question that I hear all the time is, can I travel outside the United States with a green card? And you absolutely can travel, but it's the length of stay. You can't be outside the country for more than a year. If you're outside for more than a year, when you come back, they're going to take your green card away, and they're going to send you back. They won't let you into the country. So make sure that you are not out of the country for more than 1 year at a time. If you're on the citizenship track, if you're out for more than 6 months at a time, you have to wait 4 years and a day from when you return. So you lose a lot of time. So you can travel, but in smaller trips. You have to be here at least half of the 5 years. You also have to show that you've been living here and working here, and I would say do not get in trouble with the law. Once you call attention to yourself and you've committed some criminal act and you've had to go, you've spent some jail time, then you have to discuss with a legal expert whether or not you should even apply. So there are certain situations, and that's my job to prepare people. You know, it's very hard to just give a long list. It's very detailed. So again, I know I can't say it enough. Get good help. That's what you should do.
How about for someone who has a criminal record in their native country? Is it the offense, the level of the offense? Does that affect their future here?
Most likely they would not have been allowed in if they committed a crime outside the country. So we're really looking at the last 5 years when you're talking about citizenship. You can be here for 25 years, but they're looking at the last 5 years in most criminal cases. I mean, if you've committed murder, you know, you're not going to be able to apply for citizenship.
Yeah.
So there are certain offenses which will permanently bar you, and that's why you shouldn't assume anything. You should go get some help.
732-545-WCTC or 1-888-545-WCTC. Debby Alter is here, the Director of Immigrant and Refugee Services. If you have questions or comments for her, and you can remain anonymous if you'd like to just talk to her for some information. Again, the phone number, 732-545-WCTC. Debby, talk about using you, a BIA accredited representative, as opposed to just, well, I'm just going to go to an immigration attorney and I can get the same service and I can get the same everything.
Well,
compare what you do to an immigration attorney.
So I'm really glad that you brought that up. Because as you know, this is a vulnerable population, and immigration attorneys can charge thousands of dollars for applications. And I think that USCIS knows that immigrants do not have a lot of money to spend on these types of things. And so what they've done is they've created a system whereby staff from a not-for-profit agency can get the proper training and license and accreditation to provide immigration assistance. So I am in a BIA, that means the Board of Immigration Appeals from the U.S. Department of Justice has given me permission based on my experience and knowledge of working with immigrants to provide immigration assistance. And people can go on the Department of Justice website for a list of accredited agencies. We are not allowed to charge nearly what immigration attorneys charge. For example, if you would like help with your citizenship application, I've been told that immigration attorneys are charging $2,000. If you come to my agency, it's either $50 or $100, and if you're low income, it won't cost you anything. That's because we're funded by the New Jersey State Bar Foundation, the IOLTA branch of the Bar Foundation, and United States Citizenship and Immigration Services has given us a grant, and we were very, very fortunate to receive it. There's only about 40 or 45 that were given out, and they have given us money so that we can pass that along to immigrants in providing application assistance and citizenship classes, and we have them throughout the county.
Would you say the working relationship that your office has, Debby, with the federal agencies is just as good as or better than an attorney's?
I would say it's just as good as. I communicate on a regular basis with the supervisors for green cards and citizenship. I go there all the time and I represent people, and I have a long list of cases that I'm asking about, and they always give me an answer, and they're very, very courteous to me. And I think that now more than ever, USCIS is trying to help immigrants overcome the hurdles and barriers that they face. Let's face it, when you see government authority, you're nervous. It's going to make you scared. And so you don't want to jeopardize. And you hear a lot about people who are in deportation and people who are taken away. So people are nervous just walking into USCIS. You would be surprised how many people are nervous just coming to see me. So my job is to put them at ease, give them the proper information, represent them, and then delight when they get the benefit that they're looking for.
I'm sure that's exactly where I was headed next, because I'm sure in the years that you've been doing this, you've probably, I'm sure, I would hope so, have a laundry list of success stories of folks that have come here, gone through the process the correct way, and have become, very, very good, upstanding citizens who contribute to this society and make real positive differences. I'm sure you have a lot of success stories.
I do have a lot of success stories, and I'm very, very proud of them, and I welcome you to come to my office and see the lovely gifts and cards. I always get a thank you. I always get a card. People are so appreciative that they didn't have to pay a lot of money. We're given clear information. We're given expert assistance. We're given representation, had access. Anytime they called me, I returned their phone calls. And in the end, they got green cards and citizenship, which entitled them to petition for family members back home and invite them here and have family unification. So it is a very, very rewarding job.
I'm just trying to imagine what it would be like to leave your office, once you've got that certification where you could walk down the street as a legal free person. I'm trying to imagine what that feels like.
It feels great. It feels great, and you can see the appreciation on people's faces. So I can't say it enough. Get good help. Make sure that you're given the right information and file the right forms, because you are entitled to benefits, and you should be able to access them without emptying your bank account.
1:35 on New Jersey Today on the New Talk Radio WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey. More coming up with my special guest, Debby Alter, the Director of Immigrant and Refugee Services. Questions or comments for her are welcome this hour, 732-545-WCTC or 1-888-545-WCTC. We'll come back. We'll talk about those do's and don'ts and common myths in immigrant communities, and we'll talk about some barriers that some folks would have to overcome on their way to U.S. citizenship. And we'll talk about that next when New Jersey Today continues here on the New Talk Radio WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey. 1:39 back on New Jersey Today on the New Talk Radio 1450 WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey. Phone number 732-545-WCTC, 1-888-545-WCTC. Listen live online at WCTCAM.com. Facebook fan page, check us out. We're at 1450 WCTC. And we have our little picture up from our studio here with my guest, Debby Alter, and our friends from Edison TV, who are here taping today's hour for a future broadcast on Edison Television. But you can take a look at our in-studio picture on our Facebook fan page at 1450 WCTC. Again, Debby Alter is here, Director of Immigrant and Refugee Services, located in Milltown. She'll be here for the full hour, 732-545-WCTC, if you have a question or comment for her. And Debby, before the break, we're going to talk about some of the barriers to citizenship. What are some things that folks need to be aware of?
Well, the largest barrier is, of course, language. And so, as I said before, if you can't speak English, learn English. And if you don't understand U.S. history and civics, get a hold of a book, come to our citizenship classes. We have a few located throughout the area, and learn as much as you can, but you have to be able to speak English. So that's a large barrier. People are also, Middlesex County, it's a little bit difficult for them to get around. Public transportation's a little difficult, and so we know that people have a tough time getting to classes. So maybe if they call us, I'd be happy to meet them at the Edison Library or somewhere to help them fill out their application. Please don't avoid filling out your application because you can't get to my office or you can't get somewhere.
You do that? You would go to meet an applicant somewhere? You do that?
I absolutely would.
Wow.
I absolutely. And I have done it many, many times because it's hard to get around Middlesex County. And so we'll meet them in any library, and I'll bring all the papers, and when this person leaves, they'll have an application ready to mail. I'll make sure that I bring everything with me. As long as they provide the proper documentation, I'm happy to help them wherever. My goal is to help as many people as I can. I want to see those citizenship numbers run up.
Doctors don't even make house calls, but you will.
No, I'm better than a doctor.
732-545-WCTC for my guest, Debby Alter, who was here. All right, Debby, let's move on to some do's and don'ts. Immigrant do's and don'ts. Give me the top of the list on each one.
All right, so my top of the list is make sure that your green card doesn't expire. Many people came here years and years ago, and those people were given green cards that had no expiration date. But you need to renew those green cards. So there's a certain form that you fill out. It's called Form I-90, application to replace a green card. If you lost your green card or it's due to expire within the next 6 months, please fill out this form and get a new green card. I just want to tell folks out there that your status doesn't expire if your green card does. You're still a green card holder, but your physical card has expired. So you won't be able to renew your driver's license, and you won't be able to get back into the country with an expired green card. So we don't want to see people run the risk of losing this benefit when all they have to do is replace the card. And that form is available at the USCIS website, which I would really like to share with folks today.
Go ahead.
It's www.uscis.gov. You can download all of the immigration forms from that site. This is Form I-90. If you have 6 months prior to its expiration date, you really should renew that green card. That will help you out. You don't want to get to a job interview and then not have a valid green card. So that's something really, really important. It's not the status, but the card has expired, and with that, you will not be able to access what you normally can. Also, as I said before, do not stay out of the country for more than 1 year. You will lose the card, and if you hope to become a citizen and you're on the citizenship track, a stay of 6 months or more will delay you by 4 years. So make sure that when you travel, you come back before 180 days have expired. Make sure that you get reputable assistance. Obviously, I've been saying that this whole hour, but I just want people to know that they should not try to do this alone. If they have any questions, they should stay out of trouble with the law. For men who are between the ages of 18 and 26, when they got their green card, they should have registered for the selective service, which is the draft. Kids now in high school, when they're 18, they automatically get this application in the mail. But some people dropped out of high school, and some people didn't have the opportunity to go. And so unless you registered for the draft, you will not be able to get citizenship unless you can prove that you didn't know that you had to register. So my job in those cases is to help people fill out affidavits, to let USCIS know that they did it by accident. It wasn't willful that they did not register for selective service. So that's really, really important. Please tell the truth on all immigrant applications. Once you become a citizen, they cannot deport you. If you have a green card, they can deport you. The only time you can be deported if you're a citizen is if they prove that you lied on your application. So even if the truth is not something that you want to put forward, consult us and we will help you decide whether or not you should apply at this time, but you must be truthful because they're going to take your fingerprints and anything that you've done is going to come up. So put it out there and we'll talk about it and we'll decide whether or not you're eligible, but please tell the truth.
Have you had situations where you were bluntly honest with someone where you said, you know what, this isn't going to work?
Many, many times, and I've advised them not to apply. And then it's up to the individual to go ahead. I will not put my representation on an application that I think will not be successful. If somebody's in a gray area, and I'll encourage them to go ahead and try. I don't think there will be any negative impact from them applying. But somebody who has an open deportation case that they never took care of it, they're going to come to the interview, and sometimes those people will be taken away and put into proceedings because the case was never resolved. So that's why if you've had any case against you, if you've been ordered removed, any case against you that was never adjudicated to its fullest and there was no end to it, get some help, talk to someone. There are lots of things that, that I have to get help on and I have to figure it out, and I always consult with other attorneys who can help make a good decision on what's best for this individual. But I certainly don't want to call to USCIS's attention anyone who shouldn't be applying.
But the bottom line is be honest throughout the entire process, every step.
And be honest with the person who's helping you. Sometimes people come to me and say, Debbie, I swear I was never arrested, nothing ever happened to me. They pull out those fingerprints. I get a letter in the mail from USCIS that says this guy has shoplifted 4 times, has 3 battery charges. Those are the types of people that are really frustrating because if they would have just told me, we could have avoided a lot of heartache. And now I have to explain why they weren't honest.
It wastes your time. It slows the process down for others, right? Yeah.
And their time. So in those cases, I would tell them to just withdraw the petition. I don't want them going to USCIS if they've done something that have a very, very negative impact on their immigration status. If you're meant to be a green card holder your whole life and you shouldn't apply for citizenship, someone needs to tell you that and give you good advice. But don't put you in harm's way.
Okay. How about some of the don'ts? What are some of the top don'ts that folks need to know?
Don't give anyone your green card, even if they offer to pay you a lot of money. You could get into a lot of trouble that way. If there's 2 alien numbers or 3 alien numbers and they're not matching to the individual that's coming to their attention. So although it can be very tempting to make a lot of money by you thinking, all right, what's going to happen if I just give someone this card? I would say never, never, never give someone your passport, your green card, any of your identification documents. Another don't that I think people are not aware of is that if you apply for a benefit, if you're low income and you want to apply for food stamps or Medicaid or general assistance, you can still apply for citizenship. That's not going to stop you. And that's the number one myth that I hear that is just so incorrect. I don't know if it's spread in immigrant communities, but I just want to tell people out there that if you are receiving SSI, food stamps, Medicaid, general assistance, you are still eligible for citizenship. That will not stop you. But people are afraid to go to the Board of Social Services and apply for these benefits, even though they really need them and it would help them out, because they're afraid it's going to have a negative impact on their immigration status. It's just not so. As I said, don't lie on your immigrant application, and make sure that you get good help. I think that that's all that we can do.
And it all starts with you and visiting your office or calling your office, right?
That's right. And if you're eligible for a fee waiver, please bring in the proper documents to prove that you are low income. And this way, we can help you apply and it won't cost you anything. That $680 is a lot of money for a lot of folks. And so I'm hoping to help them waive that fee so they don't have to pay it.
So you've helped hundreds of people over the years successfully with this. So.
Yes, I really have. I'm really glad to say that we have a very high success rate. Another thing that our agency does is that we help, we resettle refugees from other countries, and they come here and we help them get started. We help them find jobs. We help them with their English. So if people have family members and they're living in a country where they're afraid for their lives and that country has a refugee program, they can fill out certain papers. They can give me a call. I can tell them what it is to try to file, it's called an affidavit of relationship for that family member abroad. There's a lot going on in this world. And we're very happy to be resettling refugees from all over the world.
Absolutely. And you might find this funny, but my dad emigrated to the U.S. in the 50s, and he said the best tool to learning English was watching television.
I mean,
I would think back in when he first got here, none of the services, and it was a much different world, obviously, when he arrived here. So.
And it was much easier to pass the citizenship test. I mean, my mom told me that they asked her the capital of the United States, and she said Canada, and she passed. And this was in 1958.
Maybe it was a 2 out of 3 kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's really a lot tougher. They're going to ask you questions, U.S. history and civics questions, and we can give you the 100 questions to prepare. They're going to ask you questions on your application, so you have to be able to speak English. They're going to ask you questions from that long sheet of questions and answers that are U.S. history questions. You would be surprised what people know and don't know, but if you don't study, you won't know. When you get 6 right, you pass the test, and if you get 4 wrong first, you fail. If you fail, you're welcome to come back another time, but if you fail a second time, you have to apply all over again with a new application. You also have to read 1 English sentence and write 1 English sentence. So please get to citizenship classes and prepare yourself so that you can pass the test on the first try. We know that people are nervous. I've sat with many people in that waiting room waiting to be called for their interviews. They're scared, they're nervous. There's a government official on the other side. And so my job is to prepare them as best as I can so that they can pass that test. And on the same day that you pass the test, you get your certificate of citizenship. You're sworn in with a lot of people, and you really have a sense of pride. And when that's over, you can go get a U.S. passport.
1:51 on New Jersey Today on the New Talk Radio WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey. Final break of the hour. We'll come back. We'll wrap up with our special guest, Debby Alter, who is here. Phone number 732-545-WCTC or 1-888-545-WCTC. Lots more coming up on New Jersey Today on the New Talk Radio WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey. Just a couple minutes to go. Again, my special guest, Debby Alter, who is here, the Director of Immigrant and Refugee Services. Debbie, let me thank you for coming by today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
This has been in the works for a while, so I'm glad we were finally able to get you here. So we don't forget, how about your contact info again for your office?
Sure. My phone number is 732-777-1940. I'm at extension 1119. If you have any immigration question, I will do my best to answer it correctly. If I don't know the answer, I promise I will get back to you if I can't help you at that moment. My email is Debby A, and that's DEBBYA at JFVS.org. I'd also like to remind people out there that if they can't get to my office, I do provide community workshops throughout the area. They're in Highland Park, Edison, East Brunswick, Sayreville, North Brunswick, South Brunswick. If you can't get to my office, I'm going to bring everything with me to these workshops. If you bring your application, I'm happy to help you fill it out. Twice a year, we have a large Citizenship Day event. This year, it was at Rutgers University. We helped 100 people fill out their citizenship applications. They received assistance from BIA reps and immigration attorneys, and they left with applications ready to be mailed, and they were really, really appreciative for the help. So if you can't get to my office, that's okay. I will find you and I will help you.
There you go. We do have a link up on our Facebook fan page, 1450 WCTC, that goes to Debbie's website. You can take a look at that as well by visiting our Facebook fan page that you'll find on Facebook at 1450 WCTC. Debbie, final thing I want to talk about today, green card eligibility.
Okay.
Talk about that.
Okay, so main point is that you had to have entered legally. Somebody had to let you into this country. You have to have a passport that's stamped with your date of arrival. Some people, unfortunately, lost their passports, and they lost their little white arrival card. Now, how are you going to prove to USCIS that you arrived? So it's my job to fill out the right form, to send it to USCIS to get a replacement arrival card. So don't give up and say, I lost my passport, I lost my card, this is never going to happen for me. Come and see me, and let's see if there's a way where we can prove that you did enter legally. So once you have entered legally and you can prove it, either a family member can petition for you, an immediate family member, either your parent, your spouse, or your child, and that child must be 21. I just want to dispel a myth. People think that if they come here and they have babies in the United States, they automatically become citizens. That was true in the 50s. In 1996, all those rules changed, so that is not true. You can't come here and have a baby, and that's not going to make you an American citizen. So don't think that it will. That child has to be 21 before they can petition for you. You can also fill out the diversity visa lottery. It's on the USCIS website. Again, www.uscis.gov. If you have any problems with your application, you can call me. I'll try to help you, but you can try to do it yourself. Go to the website and complete an InfoPass appointment. It's a web-based system where you make an application. You can go there personally and get help with an immigration officer. In addition to that, you can call their 800 number. It's 1-800-375-5283. Hopefully they will give you some good assistance. If you can't get satisfaction, don't stop. Make sure that the money that you spend for application is well spent and that you see your process to the end. So many people said, I applied 4 years ago and nothing ever happened. Don't let that happen to you. You have every right to adjust status and to become a citizen, and you should take advantage of it.
Great information, Debby Alter. Thanks so much for being here, and I applaud you and the efforts that you've made. I mean, after events like 9/11, it could have just been easy to say, that's it, stop everything. But fortunately, thanks to the good work of folks like you, that's not the case. So again, thank you for being here.
Thank you, and thank you again for having me.
My pleasure.
I really appreciate it.
Hour number 2 coming up, thanks to Edison TV as well. I don't wear a tie every day, guys, even though Edison TV thinks I does. Hour number 2 of New Jersey Today coming up.